Welcome to the Ars Electronica Center, our wonderful deep space. As every year also the space where we are coming together, not just the Ars Electronica team, but also many of our collaborators to provide some information about the upcoming festival. There are only a few months left. We have very exciting time ahead of us. Next week will be the big jury sessions for the Ars Electronica, the Starts Prize, and all these other wonderful awards, which are, of course, a very big part of our annual festival program, as well as many projects that are provided by participating partners of the festivals, but of course also topics that and exhibitions, projects, concerts, performances that are coming as a response or reaction of artists to our annual festival topic. This is a very special part of Ars Electronica since decades, that every year we call out a special theme, a special topic to look for the responses. But of course, the topic that Ars Electronica is setting up for its festivals is not a unique invention out of nothing. It is on its own. Every year again a response to all these developments that are emerging, that become visible in many discussions and conversations with artists, with activists, with scientists, with people from politics as well. And as you might have in mind when you are following Ars Electronica for a while already, the last years obviously have been very strongly coined by topics that are focusing on the things that are going wrong, focusing on the big problems that we have in our times and in our society. And of course, there are, as we have seen, and I think as we are all perfectly aware, there are many problems around, and there are many things that really give good reason to be afraid of. But then, I think in particular in the last festivals, it became more and more clear that in all these areas where we really have serious threats and problems, of course, foremost, the big ecological crisis, the big problem with the necessity to completely change the way how we use energy and how we waste energy, but also in areas which are super important and problematic. How do we continue to develop democracy instead of dismantling democracy? And of course, another big challenge that basically is in everybody's minds and everybody's mouth is, of course, what will this development of artificial intelligence do with our society, with our culture? In all these areas that we focused, on all these problems that we focused, we more and more found, of course, people, communities, individual groups, professionals, amateurs, who are not only complaining, who are not only worried about the problems, but who very often, even if they don't exactly know how the solution could be or should be, who take the first steps, who are brave enough, courageous enough to move on and say, okay, what we need is change. What we need is transformation. What we need is alternative perspectives. And we have also seen, which is another problematic issue for many of us, that suddenly very new alliances come up, that borderlines and differences between who is doing the right thing and who is doing the wrong thing are blurring and fragmenting as so many other things in our world. And this is why we decided, after long discussion about what is the role of a festival, should we just go for another, what's the latest technical development, and how can we contribute with artistic work to the development of latest technical gadgets or possibilities, to rather really focus and say, okay, a festival is a it's a possibility, maybe one of the rare possibilities, to bring people together, to support the exchange of ideas, to accelerate the learning curves of individuals, of communities, by learning from each other's ideas, from each other's activities, and of course also from each other's mistakes and failures. And I think what we really need is hope, of course, but hope not in this way of, a kind of blind optimism where I think, okay, well, let's hope everything will go right. But hope as a way where we see and where we trust in our capability as humans, again, individuals as well as in collectives, to make things different. And the hope is not so much some great solutions. Hope will not be in the super technology that solves our problem. But when you work in this field, as we did in the last year, suddenly you see so many people and activities. And these are many, many, many individual reasons for hope. So the subtitle, Who Will Turn the Tide, without a question mark, of course has two meanings. It will be a festival presenting, collecting, presenting all these exciting ideas and people who are a good reason for hope. But it will be also, of course, a clear statement against all those who would have the possibilities and capabilities to make a change, but who don't. So it's not about a festival, why, how, what will solve our problems, but it's really about the who, it's about the people, and I think this is very much appropriate for a festival like Ars Electronica that since 45 years is based, rooted in this intersection of art, technology and society. And I think the programs of this year will be especially exciting because they might be even more diverse than in the recent years. And this is my great pleasure to ask now Veronika Liebl, the head of our festival, to present the locations, the partners, and a first glimpse of what the program will provide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gerfried. I think you need to switch off your mic. Thank you so much. So, from my side, we still have a couple of audio issues, but I think they are solved by now. It's not Gerfried, it's a relief. But anyway, I think we are set. We are set also for welcoming you all in Linz from September 4th to 8th. And from my side, also a bit of an information already on the first programs. Of course, also on the locations we'll have prepared for you for this year. And because so many of our devoted visitors actually reached out to us already during the last weeks and month, I'll get straight to the point. Yes. Our most beloved post city will once again be the epicenter for the Ars Electronica Festival. The former parcel distribution center with its iconic blue slides will accommodate and host the theme exhibition, the Starts exhibition, also many of the conference programs and concerts, and of course also our Create Your World Festival. There will be in total 8 more festival venues in the city center of Linz, and of course also a couple of associated venues where we host partner programs with organizations based here in the city center. For the very first time, we'll invite visitors also to the JKU Med campus. Many of you know already the premises of the Johannes Kepler University in the north of Linz. This time we'll move to the city center and the medical faculty and their campus in the heart of the city. This will be, in fact, also the very first stop of our pre-opening walk on September 3rd, on the Tuesday, before we open the doors of the festival. Typically, this is the event for everyone who can't wait any longer to start and kick off the festival, and this year we'll start with a brief presentation of the Linz Institute of Technology. Then we'll move together to the Danube, to the Lentus Art Museum, where for the very first time we'll host our Ars Electronica exhibition. The tour then actually continues to the main square and the opening of the campus program together with the Art University in Linz. We'll walk together to the Atelierhaus Salzamt, also along the Danube, and of course to our mothership, the Ars Electronica Center, with a special program on digital culture heritage. The evening then concludes at the Stadtwerkstatt in Linz. Two of this year's location will not be part of this opening walk, but actually will be the epicenter of some of the highlights of the concert program. On the one side, the Anton Bruckner Private University with the Sonic Saturday. On the other side, really the opening of this is Ars Electronica in the Mariendom in the cathedral in Linz. The opening is going to take place on the 4th of September, which is actually not only the first day of the festival, but would also be the 200th birthday of the Upper Austrian conductor and composer and organist Anton Bruckner. We'll celebrate this occasion, of course, in the opening and have invited 4 scientists and 2 artists to bring the phenomenon of quantum entanglement into the opening performance, Bruckner, the Sound of Entanglement. The team will install, so to say, an entangled optical source in the middle of the cathedral, producing pairs of entangled photons which play the role, so to say, of a quantum conductor. So they will actually give instructions to the 2 organists and by this also influence the performance of Bruckner's Perga Preludium. The opening night itself will also feature an ensemble concert from the Bruckner Orchestra and a performance by the Collective No. 5 with a fusion of Bruckner's 5th Symphony and the White Stripes' iconic 7-Nation Army. And we'll have the presentation also of Bill Fontana's Silent Echoes, which is a collaboration between the European Capital of Culture Bad Ischl Salzkammergut 2024 and Ars Electronica on the day before our opening on the September 3rd. It will be already opening in the Dachstein Rieseneishöhlen in the ice caves and can be experienced then during our opening, during live transmissions within the cathedral and also for the next 5 days during the festival. The performance or the installation is actually a powerful artistic statement on the climate crisis and taking up vibrations from the bells of Notre Dame, trying to make them audible, transmitting them to the ice caves and mirroring them also with the melting of glaciers. The program of the opening, which is, by the way, also freely accessible this year, will be reason enough to come early this year and then really continue to stay until Sunday night, as we have many highlight programs planned also during the 5 days. On Thursday, for example, we host the prize ceremony. So that means we'll, of course, hand over again the trophies and certificates to the outstanding winners and prestigious artists and personalities who received the Ars Electronica, the Starts Prize Africa, or the European Union Prize for Citizen Science this year. On Friday, the cello octet from Amsterdam and visual artist Nick Verstand will perform actually a magnificent big concert night this year in the Post-Cities Gleishalle. The 8 musicians will perform with 8 robots. They will be together on stage. The human protagonists will be embraced by meter-long mechanical arms and so form a robotic cocoon. Then pianist Makina Mikava will also join the cello octet on stage and perform a couple of pieces from Philip Glass. The night will then continue with the Ars Electronica nightline until very early in the morning. The weekend itself will kick off with the Sonic Saturday, with nothing less than a mini festival of sound of the Anton Bruckner Private University, with different kinds of lectures, with workshops, with sound installations, a listening room, and also a concert of multi-channel music. And for everyone who does not want to conclude that evening yet, can come here back in the Ars Electronica Center for the Ars Electronica Future Lab night in Deep Space 8K. On Sunday, a real highlight of the festival will actually conclude the 5 days with a concert from the Brunn Philharmonic Orchestra and their conductor Dennis Russell Davis. if you have time, and we highly recommend you have time to squeeze in next to this event and concert highlights, also a couple of highlights in the exhibitions, then we have much more prepared for you. Today, only a short sneak peek. We will, of course, as always, get into the nitty-gritty details of the program, of the artistic details in the program announcement in August. Up to then, it's also on me to thank all the partners out there currently developing the many partner programs together with us, in particular, of course, the international programs as the Ars Electronica Garden exhibitions, but also the regional programs as, for example, together with the Austrian Chamber of Commerce or the Upper Austrian Employment Service. We are, of course, very much looking forward to host all these programs jointly and bring the various perspectives from all around the globe to the festival. Just as a sneak peek, which kind of formats we'll have this year, the most prestigious exhibition, of course, of the festival, as always, is the Ars Electronica exhibition, featuring this year's prize winners, in particular in the category of new animation art and also interactive art plus, selected from a couple of thousand submissions, as Gerfried already mentioned, and we'll also host for the very first time the AI in Art Award. This year's festival theme exhibition will be staged in the fantastic catacombs. Many of you are fans of this exhibition location and will present there new works created within the new European Media Arts platform or the European Network Digital Deal. We have hosted together with European partners like Onassis in Athens or VAR in Amsterdam, then also Media Arts Praga or Kesnikova Kapelica Gallery in Ljubljana. Many of open calls and residencies currently and commissioned projects which are in the making and which will be released and premiered then during the festival in our theme exhibition. Of course, we are also continuing our institutional collaborations with the many partners to bring the perspectives from various parts of this globe into the theme exhibitions. For example, our collaboration with the Cisneros Fontanales Art Foundation, centering this year geopolitical topics from Bolivia and Argentina into the exhibitions, or for the 7th time already, thanks to the support also to the Chilean ministries, also Chilean arts perspectives. Together with the Austrian Federal Ministry for European and International Affairs, will center again this year an exhibition called State of the Artists to artists who are politically persecuted or threatened by environmental or natural disasters. On the first floor of Post City, we'll have an exhibition right after the info desk focusing on innovation in the 21st century, innovation in particular coming out from collaboration on the nexus of art, science and technology. Projects here come from the Starts Prize as usual, but also this time for the very first time from the Starts Prize Africa. Together with Creative Industries COSIGE, the European Creative Business Network and the Austrian Federal Development and Financing Bank, we'll also focus on environmental innovation this year. We'll invite a couple of artists and creative professionals to showcase their pioneering work in the field of sustainable materials, circular economy, and the Green Deal. Outstanding artistic practices and also innovation, but in the field of virtual reality and extended reality, can be explored in another exhibition called Realities in Transition, a collaboration with a couple of European partners, including V2 in the Netherlands or the LEF Festival in Spain. At this point, also a huge thank you to the European support and their continuous support, as all of the mentioned exhibitions are co-funded and co-financed through their support. For the very first time, actually, the University of Applied Science Upper Austria, Campus Hagenberg, is presenting a showcase and an exhibition on interactive media and gaming together with a couple of other partners in the Atelierhaus Salzamt. As mentioned, one of the biggest, or even maybe the biggest premiere this year will be staging projects at the JQ Med campus. For this, the JQ, the Johannes Kepler University, hosted actually a call for the staff and the students, particularly focused on collaboration with artists to create also insights into the research and to, of course, also deliver and foster new types of collaboration projects at the nexus of science and art. And the selected projects really showcase a fantastic range across their institutes and faculties from artificial intelligence, medicine, law, or natural science. For example, the famous Turing test will be playfully developed, and you can compete if you want with an AI, or visitors can also reflect on the use of AI in the context of the labor market or create a better understanding of brain diseases and their course. Better understanding, I would say, also on the topic of art, science, technology, and society is guaranteed if you visit all our conferences this year, beginning, of course, with the main 3-day theme conference and then many of other discursive programs, such as, for example, the Starts Day, focusing this year very much on the potential of AI for artistic creation. We'll have a conference on education together with the ITU, the Interdisciplinary Transformation University Austria, a 3-day conference on expanded animation, and, of course, our pre-talks, the conversations and discussions with our Ars Electronica winners. Again, many more to come in the next days. All these formats, conferences, exhibitions, concerts, events, are united by our campus program. The campus program features this year again more than 30 universities from all around the world, including, for example, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, the Bauhaus University, the Royal College of Art, or the Korea National University of Arts, and the main featured university exhibiting at this place on Main Square will be this year the Maroli-Nagy University of Budapest. The program, as you know, is hosted together with the Art University in Linz, and of course they will present a variety of programs across all their institutes at the campus program. The program will be all about seeing. At the Main Square, for example, students from the architectural department are building a tower addressing the topic of seeing from a completely unexpected perspective. Most of the exhibitions from the campus are taking place on Main Square. Some of them will also be showcased in a satellite venue of Post City. And with Create Your World, we actually have another of our educational formats happening this year at Post City. The festival will focus this year on mental health, specifically for younger people, and civil activism. As always, visitors within Create Your World are invited really to test, to do, also to experiment and to collaborate in hands-on stations, in open labs and civic initiatives. And last but not least, a big invitation also to this exact venue, the Deep Space 8K in the Ars Electronica Center, hosting this year a big focus program on cultural heritage. Thanks to the collaboration with Iconem Paris and the support of the Institut Français d'Autriche, visitors will be able to experience a giant 3D model of the Notre Dame, which caught fire, as you know, in 2019. The model is actually based on scans from a historian and prepared for the deep space by our Ars Electronica Future Lab. The collaboration with the Museo Nacional Thyssen-Bornemisza Madrid, which is supported by the Spanish Embassy in Vienna, focuses on the early Renaissance and will show gigapixels here in this fantastic venue, images of Vittorio Carpaccios paintings. And another highlight here in the deep space is together with the Kaiserschild Foundation and a couple of other museums, where we'll present works from a famous Dutch master and still life painter. It's actually part of the project Kaiserschild Art Defined, where the foundation makes their collection as well as other collections accessible for a broad public. Well, we hope that this whetted your appetite. We, of course, will inform you in due time about many, many more of our upcoming programs and artistic presentations. But with this, and for today, I would like to say goodbye and hope to see you all from September 4th to September 8th in Linz.